I live a low life trying to mind my business. I never understood mixing time with business. I rhyme with swiftness, heroic quickness. Try to figure out what a nigga's gift is. For all I know, I could be good at this. And if not, I'll work at it until my shit pops like a soda can on a summer day. But ain't no summer games, I ain't come to play.
Type in 20, you guys. This is your first time on my channel. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification button. Do me a huge favor, because I would like to monetize off of YouTube. But what I want to get at in this video is that we cannot control 100% of everything that we go through. We are not in control of every single thing that we go through. We are not. You may have this whole idea about what you want out of life and what you want to do, and I realize that not all the time that's what you're meant to do. Sometimes you're gonna have a lot of turbulence. You're gonna face a lot of trials and tribulations. Now, as for myself, I'm stubborn. And everything that I want, I get it. This is me personally. I usually do not take no as my absolute answer, as my final answer. You know, only time I take no as a final answer is if I accept it in the moment and I know that eventually I'll come back for it again, you know, and that's just me. There are going to be ups and downs in life, and you can't control every single thing, which actually, let me read this, because I was talking to a good friend of mine, and she had seen a quote, and the quote said, "Be so confident in God's plans that you don't even get upset anymore when things don't go your way." And I done had a lot of stuff go the way that I didn't want it to. You know what I mean? Like, got this shirt on, Northern Arizona University. For those that have known me for quite some time, or for those who I've opened up to about just my life, you know, there are people that were out there that experienced this situation, this scenario with me, and I'm forever grateful for them. They're brothers. Went out there, was expecting to play, talked to the director of operations, expecting tryouts and some more stuff, you know, and I was told that there was going to be tryouts. I go to the school, kind of just on a whim, didn't even have enough money to pay for the school because I was so confident that I was going to get a scholarship. And director of operations left the school. And the person that took over his spot said there weren't going to be tryouts. And there were no more red shirt spots. And the opportunity to be a team manager, from the people that I heard that were team managers, said that the job just sucked. You know, cleaning basketball players' drawers, you know, and I wasn't going for none of that. So I had a conversation with one of the coaches. It wasn't really a conversation, it was through email, so I'm not going to gas it up to be what it wasn't. But I asked him, what are my options? He said, you know, you can work out by yourself and get your game right, or whatever you feel will help you out, or you can work your way up from being a team manager. I had already known about 5 team managers, so it didn't make sense to add a 6th. And for me to diverge my focus from what I wanted to accomplish and what I wanted to do to pretty much be a water boy, and that didn't fit my vision that I had. So I took the first option, worked my butt off, gained a lot of respect, set a lot of goals, accomplished a lot of those things, and it was very fulfilling. Although, you know, the opportunity to play at Northern Arizona just didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, or the way I initially envisioned it to, you know what I mean? I have to take it to the chin. My folks, they wanted me to come home, and it was like every conversation I had with them, like, oh, you know, if you come home, you can get a car, or you can go to a junior college, you can get a job, and it's like, no, that's not what I want. I'm sorry, like I appreciate you extending this offer out to me, but that's not what I want. That's not what I want to do. That's not where I want to be. This is what I feel I want to do and where I need to be right now, and still didn't even have enough money for school. Was literally getting calls from collections, from the student financial aid service or whoever, about paying off my schooling, you know what I mean? Like there was only so much that I had. Like I had scholarship from the school, academic scholarship, wasn't enough to cover all of my stuff, but I was just missing quite a bit, and I couldn't get that last bit because I couldn't have someone co-sign a loan for me, and I wasn't an Arizona resident, and it was days of stress. It got to the point where I didn't want to go to class. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to go to the gym. This is all first semester, you know what I mean? And then one day, I was like, let me just get in touch with my spirituality, with my spiritual side, and let me ground myself. Let me meditate and let all the answers come to me. Let me stop trying to force stuff. You know what I mean? Like, what's out of my control is out of my control, and I have to let that be. And instantly, after meditating the first time, I started to find more clarity, just feel better. I stopped worrying about not having the money, and I just focused on all of my grades and stuff like that. That way I could, figure something out. Like I feel like maybe it'll buy me more time if I just showed that I was a good student, that they'd be more lenient about it. And because I was still pursuing the opportunity to get on the team, I was denying all of the work study opportunities. They're like, oh, come, you can work in the cafeteria, you can do this. Like, no, like I even got my schedule set up for me to get out of classes by the time the team was supposed to have practice and stuff. Ran into some of their players before, talked to some of their players. At the time, their players, you had some that stood out, you had some that didn't, and not throwing any shade, I'm gonna leave it at that. From that first semester, I dealt with a bunch of emotions. There was a lot of anger because I was sad. Like, my sadness turned into anger. My sadness consumed me to the point where I wanted to be left alone by my roommates, by my friends, to a certain extent, you know what I mean? Like I had such a short fuse about everything. I had such a short temper about everything, and it wasn't doing me any good. Continued to meditate, continued to pray. I even pulled out my crystals and I started laying down with my crystals around me and stuff. And I tell you, one day I woke up and I said, well, let me look at this again so I can be sad about it today. And I got online and I looked at my registration information and went to my billing stuff, and it said that I didn't owe any money. I didn't owe any money. And then I started tripping because I was like, did somebody just pay for my stuff on accident? So I started calling. I'm calling registrations or student, whoever they are. I just started calling. I'm like, where did this money come from? Where did this come from? Where did this come? Oh, well, apparently, Mr. Bell, you got a grant from the state of Arizona because you're a resident. I'm like, huh? Because technically you can't be a resident in a certain state if you're not there for however many months or for however many years. And I was only there for about 4 months before all of this happened. I think all of this happened like November. It all happened as it was supposed to. And when I just surrendered and I stopped stressing myself, about what I couldn't control, what was out of my hands, it flourished. It came to me. And I don't know how I did it. I feel like my energy just radiated outward and attracted everything that I needed. And that's what I want to get at for this. Like, I want to share with y'all, like, work on your energy. That way the energy that you radiate is what you receive in return. Surrender. Learn to surrender, you don't always have to be in control of every single thing. like as much as we would like to be in control of every single thing, we don't have to be in control of every single thing. Sometimes it's okay to just be. Sometimes it's okay to just relax and lay back, you know? And that was a critical lesson that I learned. That sometimes I still may forget, you know, just because when life is going so great, I'm like, I want it to continue to be great. But I have to remind myself, like, slow down. It'll happen on its own time. It'll happen as it's supposed to. Just focus on being the best version of you and continuing to grow, you know, and old versions of yourself continue to outgrow that old version of yourself, because that's not who you are anymore, you know what I mean? And settle down, whatever higher power you believe in, surrender to them, surrender to yourself, to your higher self, remain positive. Remind yourself how great you are. Be kind to yourself. That's something that's critical. Something that is critical, because I get on myself heavy and I start thinking a lot, overthinking everything. Be kind to yourself. Because if the world isn't kind to you and you start to adopt that mindset, it's just gonna be hell. But if you're kind to yourself, then the world will start to be kind to you. You know, and one individual at a time, one person at a time, we can all make this world a kind place. So that's my spiel for today. We don't need to be in control of everything. Just let go. Surrender. It'll happen as it's supposed to. And yeah, with that being said, peace be unto you all.